Diane, I would suggest you do a restart.
Darn it. All right, I can see you.
Start video at the bottom left.
No, I was on and I don't know why you can't see me. That
Now we can.
Now we
Correct.
can.
Now we can.
Good. Thank you. We have the quorum. Today is Monday, the 15th, and we have the Honorable Executive, Mr. Elliott. Can you hear me, sir? Yes, thank you. Go ahead. Your floor.
for Mr. Elrich?
Ah,
are you
Yeah.
saying?
okay. Well, thank you for inviting me here today for the proclamations. This is a thank you for all the work you did. I apologize for all the work I made you do. And the long process that evolved out of that, but thank you just the same for everything you did. I want to let you know that I appreciate your guidance and also the autonomy that allows the Board of Elections in this county to function at its best. And we owe you a lot. You know, long days followed each of the last two primaries, and you endured built-in delays because of previous governor's decision, and a very bad decision, to not allow the county to begin counting provisional ballots when you should have. And that's really unfortunate. It would have made for a lot less pain on your part. It took a lot of fortitude and concentration to perform at your best when all your eyes, everybody's eyes were on you. And it's your duty to get the results right, no matter the situation. And I just really appreciated the diligence. Everybody I know who went up there and witnessed the counting and the work that you did was really impressed with the way you handled it and the work you did going forward. So I just want to add my thanks to what I'm sure you've heard from everybody else. And before I read the proclamations, I just want to also welcome our new election director, Boris Brajkovic. Did I get that right? Am I close?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rajkovic.
Thank you, sir.
Rajkovic is how it's pronounced.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for taking this on, and I look forward to working with you going forward. So now I'm going to read the proclamation. I want to acknowledge, first of all, these are the 5 recipients. Nahid Kozema, who
Yes.
joined the board in 2007 and became president in 2021. James Shalek, who served on the board as president from 2015 to 2021. Jacqueline Phillips, who served on the board from 2011 to 2021. And Elise Wright Barnes, who joined the board in 2019. And Alan Banoff, who joined the board in 2017. So the certificates are all the same. So I'll just read you the language from one of them. And it says, the County Executive of Montgomery County awards these certificates to Nahid Kozema, James Shalek, Jacqueline Phillips, Elise Wright Barnes, and Alan Banoff in recognition and appreciation for your leadership and faithful stewardship of democracy. Since joining the board, you've worked tirelessly to make every election a success in Montgomery County. And under Maryland state law, the Board of Elections in each county plays an important role in overseeing the work of our professional staff and assuring voters of every political persuasion that the conduct of the election is nonpartisan. You provided consistent leadership through numerous changes in election laws and regulations, modernization of procedures and equipment, and expansion of early voting and voting by mail. During the pandemic, you played an essential role in ensuring public health and safety, as well as access to the ballot box. And under your leadership, our jurisdiction has consistently been a model for the nation in conducting accurate, secure, and fair elections. And so thank you for ensuring that every vote counts in Montgomery County. And so it's my thank you to all of you for what you did. And I just want to close by saying, I can't imagine any other election board that had to deal with as many changes as landed on you in the space of these elections, moving election dates, changing equipments, dealing with COVID, you know, a myriad of things that you all had to deal with, and you got it all done. And thank you for everything you did under very difficult circumstances, and I appreciate your service.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
James,
You have a comment for
Thank you, Mark.
Mr.
Yes,
Malik?
James,
Mark, can you see me?
Yeah,
I just wanted to thank you and your staff for all the cooperation you gave us for the 6 years I was president. Anytime we needed help, we had questions, we needed support, you were there, your staff was there in a bipartisan effort. We had some real rocky times. We had COVID, other issues, equipment issues, and you and your staff were always there for us. And I want to publicly thank you, because without you and your support, the waves that we had to sail over would have been much bigger and more complicated. So thank you very much. We
I
really,
appreciate that. Really, Jim, I feel, our job is to make sure elections are conducted in a nonpartisan and fair way. And you held up your end of the bargain. I made sure that we held up our end of the bargain.
thank you.
thank you so very much. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So I guess you're going to do your board meeting now?
Yeah.
Can I
Is that
say
what-
something
David?
before we move on with the board meeting? I want to
Sure.
second what Jim said about the cooperation from the county executive, and I wanted to particularly mention that the ballot sorting equipment that you helped us to get was and will be a game changer in terms of our being able to efficiently process the large number of mail-in ballots that we are receiving and will continue to receive.
Yeah.
So I wanted to very much mention that and thank you and the council for assistance with that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. David, your hand is up. No more. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you all. And I know I'll be running into you guys around town.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you,
Bye,
Mark.
Karen.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye. Fourth president remark. Usually I don't have that much remark, but this time I'm having a 5 hours remark. Bear with me. Okay, this is my remark. David, how do you feel? You okay?
I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if I'm ready for 5 hours of remarks, but I'll do
You-
my best.
After you hear what I'm saying, you will
Okay.
be okay. That's a medicine. So as you may know, our monthly agenda usually has a section for president remark. I have historically briefly thanked the staff for their work. However, because this will be the last meeting where I will be serving as a president, after that I will be the queen, I would like to expand on my comment. I have served the Montgomery County Board of Elections since 2007. I was a baby that time. I'm very proud of the board accomplishment. As a person who came to the United States and become a United States citizen, I have a deep appreciation for democracy and the rights, appreciation of the rights of citizens under our United States Constitution. The right to vote is sacred, and it is one of every eligible United States citizen should exercise. Over the years, the board has been taken a number of steps to expand voting opportunity for individuals who are eligible to vote. We have also taken the necessary steps to ensure that only eligible voters are permitted the right to vote in our election. I would like to thank the county executive, past and present, and county council for their assistance over these many years. The county has been a supportive partner of the effort of the Board of Election to serve our voters. That support has been integral of allowing the board to achieve its mission. I would also like to thank my present and previous colleague. Over the years, we have been together for many times during the meeting, canvas, and all other activity. Whether a member was a Republican or Democrat, all board members had a goal, common goal, to serve the voter of Montgomery County. Thank you for your service as board members. I would like to thank the many volunteers who assisted with election preparation, serving as election judge, and acting as our canvasser. The Board of Elections simply would not function without your hard work. Your call to civic duty is truly admirable and has promoted voting in Montgomery County. I deeply appreciate your hard work over the years. I have gotten to know almost all of our canvas worker, and I deeply cherish the time that we had spent together. Last, certainly not least, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to the staff of Board of Election. If I don't cry, bear with me. Most individuals have no idea about the amount of time and effort take to put on a successful election, from registering voters, selecting polling spaces, recruiting election judges, preparing equipment, mailing out vote by mail ballot, conducting early voting and election day voting, and then canvassing over 100,000 vote by mail and provisional ballot. Those are just a sample of tasks that need to be conducted in order to prepare for the conduct of election. I have witnessed our staff literally work around the clock. Their commitment is unmatchable. And the voters of Montgomery County are truly fortunate to have such a hardworking, dedicated group of individuals at the Montgomery County Board of Election. It has truly been an honor to work with you all, and I will cherish close friendship I have developed with all of you. Again, thank you, all of your hard work over the years, and I wish you nothing but success as you prepare for 2024 presidential election. Thank you so very much. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. So this is my, David, that was short. Okay,
Hi, Jackie.
thank you so much.
Hey, Jackie.
Addition and changes to the agenda.
Madam President,
Yeah,
would there be an occasion, and would that possibly be now for board members who are, who are staying to talk about the ones who are departing, and perhaps to give the ones who are departing a chance to say something as well?
Yes,
was-
but can they make it short because the staff has to go to this conference? Okay.
Yes, I think,
Go
well,
ahead.
I'll speak for myself, but
Okay.
it-
You're going to start first, David?
it's up to you, Madam President.
Yeah, I call the name. Here, let me call the name, and then it's better to do that. Diane, go ahead.
I first of all, Naheed, what gracious comments. You are going to be missed. I want to thank you for all the kindnesses you've shown me. We were friends coming into this, and I just cannot tell you in what high esteem you are held. And I just want to let everybody know who hasn't been around, I have never seen anybody work as hard, as diligently, as absolutely loyally as I have seen of Ms. Kozame, my friend Naheed, in the many, many years that I saw her in the voting process, working for the board before I ever joined. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate everything you've done, and you will be missed. And I want to say a thank you to Alan and Elise. You will be missed also. I didn't have the friendship with you ahead of time, but good luck. I hope we stay in touch. And Jackie and Jim, thank you. Coming into this with such high aspirations and energy, and you were there, and thank you, and good luck to everybody. We'll all keep in touch.
Thank you. David.
Thank you, Madam President. First, I want to identify with, I think, just about everything you said in your remarks. I can't think of a single thing that I would disagree with, and I know we should mark this day on our calendar. But your comment about our purpose, about your purpose on our board, about the hard work of our staff, I agree with it all. I want to add that you were a stalwart as far as showing up for Canvas. And if you missed a Canvas day, I must have missed it too, because I don't remember you ever missing a Canvas day. And your dedication was remarkable and much appreciated. And I know we haven't gotten to it yet, but you also appeared before the council last week and came back with a commitment for some additional funding. And we appreciate you and Mr.
Thank you,
Benoff.
David. They gave us everything.
Yes, I understand.
I just regret that I told
I
him
should be
that
absent more often.
after
Because
the
you know,
$70,000, I asked for 100,000. They said they will give it to me if I would apply, if I would
Yeah.
ask them earlier. Okay.
yes. So I very much appreciate that. I haven't had a chance to say a whole lot about Jim and Jackie, who left us in 2021. And although I think I did a little bit, but let me just say that both of them were great colleagues on the board, were very dedicated to the work. What I remember in particular is Jim and I going to the county council asking for additional resources to address the wait times issue in Montgomery County, and being a unified board in doing that. And in Jackie's case, Jackie, if you've been following the news from the primary, you know that an issue that you appeared before the state board on in 2016 is still very much an issue today, with the ballot marking device and the number of candidates on a page. But you were way ahead of the game in terms of identifying that as a significant issue, and we're still fighting that fight, and we're still writing to the state board, and they're still telling us that they'll consider it for the next election, whenever the next election is. But it's very, very much appreciated. I did not know Jackie or Jim before serving on the board, and was thrilled to become friends. Jackie and I sometimes had occasions to work at the same early voting site. I would say that as with all families, that we all have our moments where we are in sync, and moments when we are not. And that's certainly true for our board family. But I know that everyone is trying to do the right thing, and I appreciate that. For I've spoken about Naheed. Let me just talk a little bit about Elise and Alan. They have been the best teammates that they can be. They have told me when I was wrong more often than you'll ever know. But they have been diligent. I don't know how the minutes are going to get reviewed when Alan leaves the board. No one will do as thorough a job as he did. I don't know who my kind of reality check is going to be with Elise leaving the board, because that was frequently a role that she played. And they've been outstanding colleagues and board members and friends. I did not know Elise before serving on the board. I did know Alan, and I was lucky to have known him for quite some time. Just thrilled to have had the opportunity to work with them. More to say about our continuing colleagues on another occasion. I'm looking forward to continuing to work with those that I will be continuing to work with, but I'm particularly pleased that Jim and Jackie were able to join us today, because we really didn't have a chance to give them a send-off when they left us. So great to see you, and hope everything is going well for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Alan.
Okay, I'll take the floor. Thank you. Allison, you did a great job. Boris, you're doing a great job. I've enjoyed working with both of you. Kevin, I got to know you very well years before I served on the board, when I was heading up the Montgomery County Democratic Central Committee's voter protection. I could always depend upon you for doing excellent work, nonpartisan work, and you've still been doing that today. You're doing an excellent job as board counsel. Nahid, we cooperated often. I'll miss your smart outfits and your little humor. I thank you, Anissa, for the greetings on Jewish holidays. Diane, Sandy, I met a very good neighbor. We're very glad to meet you, and you're a very nice person. Sandy and I will be seeing you when we get back from France. Ami, I appreciate your voice of moderation. Hope you don't get in trouble by saying that. And appreciate your hosting us at your house. Alex, I like working the canvas with you. You were no nonsense. We did work very well, and we got the ballots reviewed quickly but carefully. Elise, I've really enjoyed our friendship the last 4 years and appreciate your practical bent to resolving problems. As David said, you're a great reality check. Last but not least, David has been a great mentor for me, a champion for me. I remember seeing David in Epcot Center in 2002 when his family was there, and I was running for Democratic Central Committee, and I waved to him. I'm running for MCDCC, and I think he voted for me. But he's been a great resource for me and a terrific mentor to look up to, and I truly value our friendship too. To the Montgomery County Democratic Central Committee, I have performed my duties with excellence, and I appreciate your voting for me 2 out of 3 times. And one more thing here, one more thing.
Thank you, Alan.
One more.
Ami. Oh, you still have somebody.
One more
Sorry.
thing.
Huh?
Alan still has the floor.
You finish, Alan, or you still talking?
Oh, yeah, he's a final comment.
When I'm gone. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Stephen. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Okay.
We are.
We miss you already.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Ami?
It's been a fascinating 1.5 years for me. I came on part way through this last term, and I've spent a lot of time learning, and I appreciate everybody's roles in teaching me. I'll miss you, Alan. We behaved as English professors together, reviewing the minutes. And Elise, it's been a delight to get to know you. Thank you. And Nahid, I appreciate your leadership and everything you've taught me. It's been an amazing 1.5 years, and I look forward to being able to keep contributing.
Thank you, Ami. Alice?
I want to thank you all for being such good colleagues. I thank you for the opportunity to serve the residents and voters of Montgomery County. I appreciate all of you for your efforts to do the same. And I know we will all be in touch. We have all weathered some personal and professional storms through this time. And I thank you all for your support during my personal storm. I just am grateful for the opportunity, and it's been quite a ride. So I wish you all the best of luck going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Alex?
Madam President, thank you very much. And first, let me pay tribute to your 17 years of service. I have to concur with David that I can't think of anyone who spent more time and was more dedicated to the canvass, the recounts, all the activities that we did, the countless times that you were patrolling the polling places, early voting centers to check and make sure things were going on. And you were always right there when a problem needed to be solved, and you would help coordinate and get people to solve it and the resources to solve it, and always making sure that things were running smoothly. And of course, Nahid, your solicitude for the staff is well known, probably one of your greatest achievements. And you know, you never forgot, you know, who does most of the heavy lifting to ensure that we have these orderly and free elections in Montgomery County, and it is the staff. And you have always recognized that and always had their welfare top of mind. Let me say, Jim Shalek, I really got to know you when I first came on the board in 2015. Your reputation as a candidate and a political figure preceded our introduction, but it was wonderful to serve with you and to really get to know you and how well you knew Montgomery County politics and the law and everything that you did. You put your all into it, Jim, and I admire you greatly for that. And it was a privilege to serve with you. Jackie, I have to say it was a privilege to be always seated to your right at meetings and to be with you. You were thoughtful on many important issues and brought a sense of reason and common sense to everything we did. But perhaps mostly what you recognize is that occasionally we need to laugh at ourselves. And your irreverent humor was always perfectly timed and very appropriate to the things that we did. Alan and Elise, I really have enjoyed serving with both of you. I wish that you would be continuing. I think you made some great contributions to the board, and I regret that we will be losing your wisdom and experience that you've certainly amply demonstrated over the last couple of years. You know, Alan, I suppose if there was ever a demand or a need for a paid consultant to be a copy editor for the board minutes, you certainly would be the one that we would hire. So with that, I will yield the floor. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Jackie?
Thank you all. I have been on here since before the beginning, so Mr. Elrich, and I appreciate Janet calling and getting me hooked up correctly. Thank you all for everything that happened while I was on the board. Loved being on the board. I love being off the board. It all worked out very nicely for me. And I watch you all with pleasure and
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I think we're missing the punchline.
We
Well,
lost Jackie.
that was a good note to end on.
Yeah, but
she's
I
stuck.
think we're.
Okay then.
I know.
All right.
serving underneath you is when you
Wait.
were president. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Jackie, we missed the
Thank
last
you.
30 seconds of what you said.
Thank
I
you.
just said thank you all. It was wonderful. Everybody taught me something, and I enjoyed meeting every one of you. It really was an interesting in my varied political life over the years and various boards I've served on. This one was unique in many ways, and I like that. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the man who keep us straight, Kevin, you have something to say?
Oh, that's fine.
You need this?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there feedback on that?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank the board members. It's when you sign up for this job, you have no idea what a time commitment it is and all the hard work that goes into it. All of you acted as consummate professionals and did a wonderful job. And the citizens of Montgomery County were very fortunate to have you serve over the last 4-year period.
Thanks, Kevin.
You're
You need to
muted,
unmute
Naheem.
Naheed.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Addition and changes to the agenda.
Madam
Okay.
President,
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes,
um,
David, yeah, go ahead, David.
just wanted to get clarification. You said that there was an addition to the agenda as of today, but are we going to be discussing Alex's motion during old business?
Yes,
It's on the
it is
agenda.
on the old business, it's in the agenda, yes.
Okay,
It's under old business.
There's a revised agenda that went out, David.
Oh, what revised agenda from today? Okay, thank you. I apologize for not seeing that.
That's okay. Disclosure of campaign contribution. I'm sure there's nothing. Nobody's running. Okay. Public comment. Lisa?
So public comments were received and distributed to the board members. I don't know if Mr. Rogorski is wanting to address the board today, but he did provide his comments in writing.
Yeah,
Diane's hands up.
Yes, Diane.
yeah, Lisa, you did mention Mr. Rogorski's name, but when I received his comments, there was no name on it, and if we could just get that sent to us so we know to whom to attribute it, that'd be great at some point, please.
So
Oh,
there
we
was
go.
no, I believe he's
see his
on.
name.
Yeah, he's on.
Okay,
Can you all hear me?
Do you like to say something, sir?
yep, I can hear.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, just, I've worked as, the past few election as an election worker, a canvasser, Dropbox attendant, and before I get into the issue, I'd just like to congratulate the board on the good work they've done. It's a great election system, and I'm very proud to be part of it. What I'd like to address is the issue that came up last meeting about the proposed future resolution to ban acceptance of funds from NGOs. I think it's a slippery slope at this point. If you accept funds from an NGO with no really standard, the only standard is that the funds have to be used in a politically neutral way. To me, this is a very slippery slope. I mean, a neutral use standard is improper. It kind of puts the board in the precarious position of politically judging NGO contributors. For example, some board members feel it's okay to accept the funds from an NGO that was supported by Mark Zuckerberg. I guess it's called Zuckerbucks, since they were not used for political purposes. But what would happen under this standard? Would the board now consider accepting funds from an NGO supported by white supremacists, by Antifa, by abdication of the state of Israel, by pro-choice, pro-life, and on, just because the funds would be politically neutral? I would think not, but even if you reject an NGO for any reason, it puts the board in the position of making a political decision. Political decisions, to me, would threaten the board's impartiality, and it diminishes the public's perception of its ability to facilitate fair elections. Additionally, there's other ways political influence could interfere with this proposal. We don't know at this point who pre-screens grants. I mean, how are grants approved? The board has no transparency as to how the grants are selected. What's the process for approval? I mean, are some grants, unilaterally dismissed for reasons the board's not aware of? So I think that's something else the board needs to take into account. And then the other thing is, finally, that was brought up, that a condition, if you impose a condition in a grant that compels the board to do something, you're basically backing the board into a corner, even if the information that's requested is publicly available. And finally, I think there was some discussion about the ability to raise funds. I think really that the funding for elections should come strictly from Montgomery County. I mean, the county is a budget of over $6 billion. I think the board's budget is about 12 million out of that. I would think, to protect the integrity of an election, that the county would be more than happy to give us additional money that's needed. And basically, that's my 2 cents. And I appreciate the time you're giving me to present this. And like I said, I really appreciate the job everybody does on the board, and I really appreciate watching your animated discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Election
Naheed,
board. Who's it?
Diane's
Yes, Diane.
hand is up.
I'll just make it really quick. I want to thank Mr. Gregorski for taking the time to submit those thoughtful and, I think, persuasive comments. But we'll get into that later.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Bush.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Boris Brajkovic. I'm Election Director for Montgomery County Board of Elections. I'll just go very briefly over the director's report. The report is on our website under today's board meeting. The first section refers to distribution of the materials, including the agenda to the board, posting on our website, as well as a report and all the action items from the previous board meeting. When it comes to action items itself, the board members have received the outreach calendar that covers the period from February to October this year. The second action item that board members asked last time was an update on a potential expansion of the Board of Elections space in the current facility, current building. There is an overview of the process that we are following in our effort to secure additional 8,300 square feet in the building where the main office is already located. So we work through the county agencies. We are the part of the process where literally architects are talking to architects. So the review of the space has to be done so we can get a better picture of what's possible with the reorganization of the space itself based on all the codes and all the criteria that are applied in Montgomery County. In any case, we will keep the board updated as we go forward, as we learn anything new for the professionals that are looking through the schematics. Voter registration statistics are provided as well on our website. As of the end of April, we had 677,479 active registered voter, bit under 59,000 inactive, with a total of 736,451 registered voter in Montgomery County. When it comes to the state board, I just wanted to share with the board that the state board is hiring a new state administrator. The job posting is open until May 19th. The state board will follow the process and select the new one, I believe, in the beginning of June. When it comes to personnel, as I mentioned in the report, Ms. Ida Hulen, who has been with us for 19 years with voter registration, she retired at the end of the April, and the staff and I believe the board wishes her all the best in the next chapter of her life. When I took over in January, I spoke to everyone, all the managers, and I believe with the board, saying that I will look at the current organization of the board, the staffing levels across the sections, the assignments, the different managers, the different team members have at hand, as well as changing workload, changing requirements, all the new demands that are being placed before us. As a result, at this point of that review, I would like to announce that Chris Jeshut, the operations manager of many years, she accepted to take over election judges recruitment recruitment election support manager position, a new position that was created to focus more on hiring and retention of election judges as we go forward. I don't need to mention to the board is well aware that for the last election cycle, we, like the rest of the boards in the state, have certain struggles when it comes to hiring sufficient number of election judges to cover all the polling places. We are, in the same time, we are moving forward with filling out the vacant positions. We are talking about finance position, Tech 2, Tech 3, everything, all are in different phases of the hiring process, either on our end or our colleagues with the Human Resources Department with the county. We still have a number of temporary positions on the payroll because the work cannot stop. So we do what needs to be done. When it comes to next section is the budget. I just made the reference to two meetings. First, on April 27th, the board president, board secretary, myself, and the deputy met with appeared before the respective committee of the county council to discuss the supplemental appropriation for this fiscal year and the budget for the next. as a result of that conversation, all the enhancements were voted 3-0 by the committee. And we went to meet the full council on May 12th. It was a board president, so Mr. Alan Benno, the board member, and myself. We are waiting for the outcome of all those items that the council discussed. We were there. We provided all the questions that they had, and I hope that we will the result will be positive. The proposal that came through from the committee and was presented to the full council and voted, I believe, 8-3, is to get additional $70,000 for the outreach budget in the fiscal year 2024, when we will have a lot of to present to our voters in our presidential elections. Next section of the director report is a petition that we received, and an advance determination regarding a petition was signed off by me as advised by the board council. I just put some information on that petition in my report, while I believe that the attorney will cover it in more details. When it comes to the section activities, this is the part of the year when we are already putting away everything from the last elections, try to organize the space, and doing some forecasting how it will, what will be needed going forward. Water registration section, water services in general, keeps list maintenance activities on the daily basis. We are not here. Just okay. The IT staff is performing quality checks on the voting booths now. We are going through all the equipment that will be needed, and we will all do some retrofitting of the poll books cases that we will use for the new poll books that are coming. We are finishing the shredding of unvoted 2022 election ballots, and the recruitment continue to work with the outreach to go out and meet as many as possible potential election judges for the next cycle. As it was mentioned by the board president earlier, myself and the number of managers and staff, we will be attending the annual conference of Maryland Association of Election Officials, which started this morning, and we will be traveling to Ocean City after the close of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Boris. Our board attorney's computer has some problems.
May I ask a question of Boris?
Yeah.
Boris, in your report, you indicated that the new space could be available as early as 2024, and that it might be usable for canvas purposes. And I just wanted to get a sense as to how much of a possibility that is, and if we're talking about the primary election or the general election, or really more into the future.
So the space for us to sign a potential lease agreement should be October 1 this year. Anything beyond that, any reconfiguration of the space, moving the walls, bearing walls or regular walls, or how it could be moved, we have to sit and wait for the architects to tell us what could be done with the facility itself, what could be done with the code. The staff is moving ahead. We're trying to secure the space, canvas space at the Germantown campus of Montgomery College. While we hope that we would have this space for canvas as well. So we cannot be definite at this point. As I said, we have to wait to hear from architects, because it's on them to tell us what exactly how we can reconfigure the space. We know what we would like to see, but whether it's possible from the construction point of view or code point of view, we have to sit and wait.
Sure, and then you also have to figure out whether it can be done in time with a canvas that's going to start in the middle of April, which is quite soon, given if you're going to get the space. You said the end of this year. So
we will, as it stands now. Before that, we will have I believe, contract with the Montgomery College, so we have a canvas space.
Right.
If this space comes around again.
We'll see
Developers
yeah, developers, all the approvals, all schematics, contractors, that will be a different conversation and to see how it will evolves towards the end of the year.
Sure. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Alan
Kevin,
had a hand
yeah.
up.
Go ahead.
Got a question.
Alan has his hand up.
Who's talking?
Boris, I had a
No.
question for Boris.
Yes, Alan, please.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned architects. Are they provided by the general services or who?
So my understanding is that there's two sets of them. One comes from the county, one comes from the landlord, from the lessor. So they have to sit down and see what would be possible or what could be done.
I'm not there.
How about Dr. Kozame?
Sorry, I'm not there to help them. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay,
Kevin,
okay, thank you. So as Boris alluded to, there was a petition has been submitted to limit term limits for the county executive to two consecutive terms. Under the election law article under 6202, one can request an advance determination regarding the legal sufficiency of that petition. There was one submitted, there was a correction that was made, and then I, along with the county attorney's office, told Boris that it did meet the requirements under the election law article, and that petition will at some point begin being circulated. For that petition, for the question to appear on the ballot itself, there need to be 10,000 valid signatures. And I say valid signatures because there are a number of requirements for circulators that need to be met in terms of signing an affidavit. And there is a signature requirement under Maryland law under 6207, which is rather unique, that you need to sign your name as it appears on the voter registration list or your surname of registration. So that will take, generally, you should, if you need 10,000, you should probably collect 20,000 because it is a rather unique requirement to go ahead and be able to do that. The petition sponsor has until the second Monday in August preceding the general election to go ahead and submit those signatures. With any luck, they do not need to be submitted all at the same time. And perhaps given that the board will be ramping up for the general election, maybe there'll be an opportunity maybe for a rolling verification of some part of the petition itself. But we're sort of at the early stages of that issue. I understand last month when I was not here, there was some discussion of Bill 410 and what is going to be the criteria for, quote, historically disenfranchised communities. I have reached out to Dan Corbin, who is the Assistant Attorney General assigned to the State Board of Elections. And I have been told by Mr. Corbin that the Attorney General's office, along with the State Board of Elections, will be opining as to what is the criteria that the board is to utilize in meeting that definition and what communities meet that definition. Dan did not give me a timetable for that, but that is in the works in terms of developing criteria that the board will need to apply for the 2024 general election. And my last item, it relates to the Gibson case, which is against 22 counties for funding that was for the 2020 election. As you may recall, that was a case that was pending in front of the United States District Court for the District of Maryland, which was dismissed for lack of standing. A motion for reconsideration was filed. That was denied. That has now been appealed to the United States Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit. Under the Fourth Circuit's local rules, you can only file one brief. And as much as I enjoy Richmond, I don't really need to go down there. Mr. Corbin is going to take the lead in preparing a joint brief that will be signed off on by the state board and the state entities as well as the county entities. And in the event that the court decides to hold oral argument, I assume Mr. Corbin will be the one arguing. Does the board have any questions? Alex?
This historically disenfranchised communities requirement, is that relate to the selection of early voting centers or something else?
It's for early voting, yes.
Early voting.
I thought that the new bill makes that also a factor for election day polling place changes.
I believe it does. For changes that need to be made, that there needs to be additional criteria that is provided if there's a change to a polling place.
And so it means that has to be taken into consideration, but we don't know exactly what that means in practicality. Is that right?
Correct. We do not know what the criteria is that they will utilize. I should say you will utilize to determine whether it is a historically disenfranchised community.
And then once it's decided what community meets that qualification, then there's another step about whether something about that community has to be taken into account in local.
Yeah, for each polling place, there needs to be a polling place plan that addresses a variety of criteria that's actually in the bill itself. But again, it's you know, at this point, until we have the criteria, it's kind of difficult to, you know, directly pinpoint what areas are going to meet that definition.
And has this bill been passed the General Assembly and been signed into law by the governor?
Yes.
And is the State Board of Elections expected to promulgate regulations that further explain how the criteria is to be measured or met?
I don't know exactly what the state board is going to do, other than the state board, along with the Attorney General's office, is going to either issue an official opinion or an informal opinion of what they believe the criteria should be to be applied to that particular phraseology.
Thank you.
Well, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
New business. Do we have any new business? No? Okay. Old business. Kevin already handled that HE 4110, 410. Any other question regarding to that? Nothing. All right. Motion proposed regarding non-government funding of election operation and administration. Outreach is, sorry. Outreach schedule. You have something to say? No? Okay.
Good afternoon. So the outreach schedule was distributed to all board members. We'll continue to provide that format. Obviously, once it was sent out, it keeps on changing daily. As we near the summer, we're going to ramp up more outreach. We will continue to establish relationships with all types of organizations, faith-based, academia, with Montgomery College, universities of Adventist University and Tacoma Park. We'll work with the faith and business community, et cetera, as we have over the last 2 or more decades. And as we ramp up, we're going to also tweak our messaging to, identify communities where they could participate within the communities where we need poll workers, and also the education aspect of engagement to ensure that our voters know the process from A to Z. So we'll continue doing our outreach. One of the unique things of Montgomery County compared to other jurisdictions, we continuously do outreach all year round.
Any question? Yeah. Yes, Diane.
Muted, Diane.
There we go. Thank you, Gilberto. Quick question. It looks like a great plan that you have. Congrats. I noticed there's quite a list of high schools. And I did notice one name that didn't look like a public school, but did I overlook non-public high schools for outreach?
Yeah, we try to reach all, both private, parochial, homeschool, Chinese, Jewish day schools. Anywhere we have an audience, we try to reach out. Remember, on a daily basis. Someone is turning 16 years of age. And also it's a good pool for resources as pertains to voter engagement. These students have loved ones. And so if we can reach through our current voter base through the student, it's a benefit for us, which will reduce the numbers of provisional voting as we reach the community beyond sample ballots, obviously, and the mailers that we send out.
Yeah, great, thank you. I just did not see the names of non-public schools on the list. Is that because
We
you
have
don't
them.
have a?
Mhm. So
Okay,
today I went to Don Bosco
Oh.
Cristo Rey, which
I
is.
saw
in
that
Tacoma
one.
Park.
I saw that
Yeah,
one.
and so a lot, as we
I
get
didn't see-
closer, what happens is,
I didn't see good
the-
counsel. Are they?
so one of the uniqueness of parochial and private school is they have school on election day. And so one of the reasons why it's challenging to recruit students from those academic settings is that unless the student gets permission from the guardian, obviously, which they also need, but also from the headmaster, very few of those students are recruited to serve on election day. However, we do get some to serve during early voting, the weekends, since there's no school on the
Great.
weekends. But as we
Thanks.
get
So-
closer to the election, we do go to Good Counsel, Georgetown Prep, Holy
Old
Cross.
Child.
Yeah, Bullis,
Norwood. I mean,
we hit them all.
I
Yes,
just
we will
didn't
hit
see
them all.
that. I just did not see the names on the list.
Yeah, right now we're a year out.
Yes.
As we get closer, once we go
Okay,
back
that's
in the
all I
fall.
need.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. David,
So, Gilberto, thank you for that list. Is it unusual to have are the public schools on a very different schedule than the private schools? Is it because of the high school voter registration drive that there's a certain time of year that you go to high schools? To public high schools? I'm just trying to understand the schedule that you just laid out.
So the scheduling, we work closely with MCR SGA. As you know, you're the first school board president.
Mhm.
So we
No,
have.
I
a-
was
a
never
really
the
unique
president of MCR, but I did a
Not
bunch of other
MCR,
stuff.
but
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
so we have a
Anyway,
relationship. We have a relationship with MCPS. In any given year, over 10,000 high school students graduate from MCPS. And we work closely with the SGA. We have a 40-year plus relationship with the school system. But as noted, we do reach out to parochial and private schools in Montgomery County. With the public schools, since we work closely with the Michelle Cherry, she's my counterpart, we tend to have easy access to the school system through the SGA officers. And that's why we go twice a year. With the private and parochial schools, a little bit different, but once we come back from winter break, that's when we tend to go to those academic institutions.
okay, thank you. And how often can we get the report that we got today? Because I found it to be very helpful. Not
Yeah, you get the
necessarily-
monthly. You get the monthly.
Monthly, okay.
Yeah, like
that's
we
fine.
have in the past.
Right, okay, yeah, because last month we didn't get it, so that was the thing that got my attention.
No
And then the
worries.
last thing is I know that we have board members who would be happy to help in these outreach. How can we be helpful, and what would be the process to do that?
The best way is to, if you know of an event, a community event, whether it's 5 individuals or 5,000, drop me an email. I will follow through and I will schedule our staff to attend.
Okay, but I'm talking about some of us may be interested in helping with the outreach itself, not just identifying the event.
So there's multiple ways to help. If you're talking about presenting via Zoom or actual doing voter registration at a given event, if depending on your availability. But we do have we have staff that will go out on a daily basis. But if you have availability and an interest, just let me know.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
all right?
Oh.
Who?
Alan.
Alan, yes.
Yeah, Dr. Z, before you run, hey, I enjoy
Hey.
working with you as well.
Appreciate
Will you be informing people that when they vote by mail to vote as early as possible?
We talk about everything from voting by mail, ballot drop boxes, provisional
Pen,
prevention,
black and
voter
blue ink.
Yes, all the banners. Sorry. Everything is coordinated from outreach to virtual outreach, social media. Everything is all connected and intertwined. Yes. It's all
Do you want to share? You want to share with the board maybe the next meeting sort of an outline of your spiel that you give? Think about it.
That'd be very helpful.
Okay.
Not
I'm
to
done.
put you on the spot or anything.
Hold
Not
on,
not now.
Alan,
Next
you're
time.
still,
I know.
yes. Alan, you still talking?
I'm done.
Done? Okay, thank you.
For
No
now,
more,
for now.
no more, okay, because we share computer. All right. Motion proposed regarding non-governmental funding of election operation and administration. So, yes, Alex.
Well, I would like to formally introduce this motion. I did circulate it to board members and staff last month. I did so again today just to make sure everybody had a copy of it. What I should probably do is read the motion into the record so it's clear that we have it here. The motion it reads, resolved that the Montgomery County Board of Elections adopt the following policy regarding non-governmental funding of election operations and administration. It is the sense of the board that the exercise of its powers and duties, its activities and equipment and operation, and the salary or compensation of its permanent or temporary employees be paid for solely and exclusively from tax revenues dispersed from the Treasury of Montgomery County government or the state of Maryland in consequence of appropriations made by law. No board member or any member of the board's professional staff shall solicit, and again, it's the sense of the board that no member or any member of the board's professional staff shall solicit or accept any grant, loan, donation, gift, or payment from any non-governmental source to pay for the exercise of any of the board's powers and duties, its activities, equipment, and operations, or the salary or compensation of its permanent or temporary employees. And finally, it is the sense of the board that no agency, board, or commission of Montgomery County government or the state of Maryland should solicit or accept any grant, loan, donation, gift, or payment from any non-governmental source to pay directly or indirectly for the exercise of any of the board's powers and duties, the board's activities and operations, or the salary or compensation of the board's permanent or temporary employees. Again, just for clarification, the first and third paragraphs that I read express the sense of the board. The second bullet point or paragraph is actually more of a directive that no board member or any member of the staff shall solicit or accept these kinds of grants, et cetera. And so if I might speak briefly in support of the motion, Madam President, I believe this is a vital issue, for our county, our nation going forward. This is based on really the experience that we had with the Center for Tech and Civic Life and Mr. Zuckerberg and his organization and what they did across the country in 2020. I know that we did, apparently I was not on the board at the time, but the board here in Montgomery County did apply for and receive through the county government funds from one of these grants in 2020. I don't have any specific information that it was used for any partisan or illicit purposes, but I think we have to take a broader view. We know there are countless articles that have been written about this. We know that approximately 80% of the grants that the Center for Tech and Civic Life gave to municipalities in 2020 went to majority Democrat counties and swing states. The grant agreements in some of these states were a little bit different than the one we saw here in Montgomery County. And I think that there were additional activities that were funded that maybe we didn't do here. I think the reason for that is that Mr. Zuckerberg and his team did not have to worry about Maryland. There was never going to be any question about who would win Maryland. And I think their intention was to try to give these grants the veneer of even-handedness and impartiality by distributing it to places like here. But the most important effect that these grants had were in these swing states, especially in Wisconsin. I think you can read quite a lot about this from the second interim report that the special counsel, the former Chief Justice of the Wisconsin Supreme Court, Michael Gableman, has issued a number of reports in reviewing the 2020 election there. His second interim report is quite revealing on how the Center for Tech and Civic Life, its funds and staff members were used to influence the outcome of the 2020 election. So, I think what's important about this, Madam President, in my mind, is that Mr. Zuckerberg is not neutral. He and his team had a definite goal, which was to help Joe Biden and the Democrats win as many elections as possible in 2020. And I think this is broadly true of any non-governmental source that funds elections or gets involved in elections. Much like George Soros and his Open Society Foundation have done in campaigns, so too Mr. Zuckerberg and his team wish to do through grants It is not done out of the goodness of his heart. It is done to exercise a measure of influence and control over the process. One of the reasons why I don't think they had as many things that they did in Maryland as they did in other states was that much of what he and his team want to see happen is already been done through the legislature here in Maryland. So again, it was not something they had to worry about. But I think more broadly, the reason I think we should support this motion is, and it comes from both sides of the aisle, whatever the stripe or political affiliation or desires of the group in question. Election administration is very important. It's a very controversial issue. Everyone has an interest in it. But when you have private money that comes in to fund these things, it inevitably comes with an expectation of influence or control. And that's what we have to resist. Sooner or later, especially if municipalities become dependent on these funds, there will be an expectation that voting procedures and methods will be altered or modified to conform to what the donor organization wants. So I think this is very important that we express our views on this, our sense of this as expressed in my motion. And I think we have to have a bright line rule that we will not accept private funding of elections. And so for all these reasons, Madam President, I urge board members to vote in support of the motion. I yield the floor.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, you want to say something? Your hand
Yes,
is-
thank you very much, Naheed, Madam President. I 100% support everything that Alex said. It would be redundant to just reiterate all the fine points, but I heartily agree with every one of them. I want to say at the outset, or I want to add that this is not in any way an effort to relitigate the 2020 election. It is not at all about the outcome or how it was handled. This is specifically to the CTCL as a specific example of what happens or how private funds can influence activities. And again, I'm not talking about outcomes. And I also, number two, want to stipulate, I have, which I was stipulated to in the past, I have not one concern, one iota of suspicion. I mean, I guess I don't even want to say suspicion. I have absolutely no concerns with the way Montgomery County used their CTCL funds. We were here, we watched the process, and I know that our staff and our system has unimpeachable integrity. And I say that from the bottom of my heart. But the broader issue is the possibilities or the threat that is posed when money from outside government, personal, private funds is brought into something as sacrosanct as the electoral process. I think because of the esteem in which elections and the democratic process are held in our country, there are special rules and guidelines and safeguards that have to be put in place to protect and preserve and promote the integrity of our electoral process. So I am categorically opposed to outside monies coming in on my firmly held belief that people don't give money without expecting something in return, whether tangible or intangible. And I've heard the argument that CTCL, the proven problems happened in other jurisdictions, but that's not germane to the argument because I'm talking about our county and how outside funds could influence it in the future. And I don't want our staff and our board to be put in the position of having to be moral monitors of how dollars are spent. So in order to, I'll leave it at that. Thank you. And I heartily endorse the comments that we received from the public at the beginning of this meeting. Thank you very much.
Anybody else like to say something? David?
Thank you, Madam President. I have a number of things to say about this. I want to start with the idea that one thing that hopefully we all would agree to is that elections are not overfunded. That we definitely have great need for lots of more resources than we have. And we need more people. We need more equipment. We probably need more training. We need better work-life balance for our staff. We have a lot of needs in the election world, and we are not unique in that, but that's certainly the situation that we're in, and we're a reasonably well-off county with a well-run government and with well-run elections. It seems that the argument here, there's a great effort to keep it to a hypothetical level and not to a specific level. Because whenever we talk about the specific level about what happened in Montgomery County or what happened in Maryland, what we're being told is that there are no concerns with what happened in Montgomery County or what happened in Maryland, but there are concerns about what happened in Wisconsin. There are concerns about what happened in other places where the rules may have been different than they were for us, and that therefore, because we don't want, I don't even know if it's true that the rules were different, but that we don't want those rules on us in the future, even though we would have an opportunity before that to reject money that put those rules on us, that we somehow want to make a statement now in response to what's happening in other states. So that strikes me as putting the cart before the horse. And that, because let's review the facts. The facts as we know them are Montgomery County got approximately $800,000 from this organization in return for providing them with information they could have gotten for free. That they would have gotten for free if they had asked for it. They made no demands on us as to how we run our election. They simply wanted to know that their funds were being used for the purposes intended. We used those funds for a variety of things that we would have done anyway. And we faced no particular need to report to them on what it was that we did. They gave us no input. I mean, they gave us no input as to how to run the elections. We ran the election. And I would add, you ran the election, you and the majority, because you're the majority, you ran the election. We all ran the election together. And the idea that we have to prospectively guard against something that may have happened in other states strikes me as, an opportunity to make a political statement, but not a practical one. This board will have the opportunity for any future grant to accept it or reject it, and we can make sure of that, and we can, at the time, we can decide whether we're being asked for anything, to do anything we wouldn't otherwise do, to give information we wouldn't otherwise give. Diane has at previous meeting referred to data mining. She's provided no proof that there's anything going on in terms of that here. I would also add that the courts have found in Wisconsin that the laws in Wisconsin were not broken either. So I'm not even sure we have an actual problem in Wisconsin, let alone an actual problem in Montgomery County and Maryland. I'd also say that this is much more of a philosophical statement than a real one, because for whatever reason,
Madam President, if I could just interrupt, I have to take an emergency call. I'm going to have to depart the meeting for a few minutes, but I urge Mr. Naaman to continue and my colleagues to offer whatever comments they may have. I will get back as soon as I can.
Okay, sorry about the emergency.
Okay, David, go ahead.
Okay, I'm getting there. So Alex and Diane have expressed a disinterest in accepting federal money if federal money were available. And everything about this motion has discussed the possibility of county or state money. In fact, the public comment today limited it to county money. Didn't talk about state money. And I think we all know that if we were to turn down state money, we'd be out of business. And I think we're equally foolish to be turning down other money that is not asking us to do anything that we wouldn't otherwise do or agree with or consider to be even acceptable. Now, I do agree with the idea that there is a slippery slope involved in analyzing the source of various non-public funds. And I guess I want to understand the idea of rejecting federal funding, especially if every other jurisdiction in Maryland would take it and Montgomery County somehow wouldn't. That doesn't strike me as being a smart move on Montgomery County's part. But in any event, we have no indication that there was anything that happened here that shouldn't have happened. And county governments accept grant money from lots of sources every day, not just our county governments across the country. They accept it for health services, they accept it for transportation services, they accept it for a whole variety of services. So I think that
the resolution does not call for not accepting state funds. It specifically says Montgomery County funds or the state of Maryland.
Yes,
I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, I thank you for that, Diane, but I was making a different point, which is
clarifying your prior point. Sorry.
Okay, well, my different point.
Okay, listen, let me say something. David,
Wait, I'm almost done. I'm almost
no,
done.
hold on. The case can be reviewed. I mean, the case can be reviewed by cases and cases. And also the fact, what is the fact? Something happened to Wisconsin, what has to do with Maryland. Third, show me the proof. I read it, I reviewed it, and I didn't see anything that $800 we got, they told us to do something. They gave it to us, and we were free to do whatever we want to do with the money. If Mr. Zuckerberg is nice enough, wanted to give his money away as a nonprofit, good for him. So we can review case by cases. We don't have to reject the money, which right now we need the money. So as academia, we always get grants because the tuition doesn't pay for our money or our paychecks. We have to get grant to cover ourselves, And as an engineer, I need the fact, and I don't see anything here that Maryland did something wrong. Wisconsin is 1,000. I don't know how far away is it, Wisconsin. Anyhow, okay, David, be fast.
Okay, the only thing I'm going
to,
I agree with everything that Naheed just said. I'll just add that the fact that there's lots of news articles out there does not prove a fact. If we're concerned about interference in the election process, I would like to get much more distinct information about what interference. As Naheed said, we've had no indication of that here, and we will have the opportunity for any future grant to make an analysis at the time as to whether there are any concerns for our board. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I get the vote.
Can I just add that it took about a year for me to get the information about the CTCL grant. So if you're optimistically thinking that we're somehow going to know about all this stuff, good luck.
Okay, Ami.
Yes, I will speak in favor of the motion. I believe that we are acting as a quasi-governmental organization, fulfilling a quasi-governmental function, and I think we should be funded with public money. And I am not distinguishing between county money, state money, or for that matter, federal money. But I believe it should not be private money. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Alice.
Alan was next.
No, Alan doesn't vote. Alan, do you have something to say?
Yes, please. First, as far as Mr. Zuckerberg's party affiliation, I think it's pretty secretive. Liberals condemn him for being too conservative. Conservatives condemn him for being too liberal. Some people say he's a libertarian. For all we know, he's unaffiliated. Number two, the money went to all over the country. The big here, $21 million went to California, $16 million went to Florida. This is of the CDCL funds. $45 million to Georgia. That was the biggest one. $16 million to Michigan, $21 million to New Jersey. That was not a marginal state. $25 million to New York. That wasn't a marginal state. $25 million to Pennsylvania, $38 million to Texas, $10 million to Wisconsin. The highest per capita was Georgia, followed by Maine, then New Jersey, then Montana. The money went all over the place to whoever was willing, who wanted to take it. And as you know, there were no strings attached. They just wanted to know information that was in public knowledge. And I'm trying to figure out, from what I've seen, how have they influenced elections? How do they influence our election? I can't vote, but if I could vote, I would vote against this motion.
Alan, you don't have a vote, sorry.
I know.
David, David,
I just wanted to add to what Alan said, that although it's not in all of the articles about this subject, the articles tend to say, well, CTCL sent money to Democratic counties in swing states. Well, CTCL sent money to lots of counties in swing states, some of which were Democratic counties and some of which were Republican counties. In Maryland, there were 21 out of 24 jurisdictions that got this funding. They are all across the state. They are red, blue, and purple. And every jurisdiction had the opportunity to apply for it. There is no indication that this money was being used to skew the election results in Maryland. Thank you.
thank you very much.
Ami's hand is back up.
All right then. So, Ami, your hand is up.
Yes, yes, yes. I want to point out that this is a motion that is not against this particular donor. This is a general motion. I don't think we have to point it at a particular donor. It is a general motion that simply says we should not accept private money from anyone. Suppose I wanted to give money to, our board. I don't want you to accept that. I know, Alan.
Yeah, I
Thank you
agree.
I
I agree
don't
with
think
Alan. We would gratefully, if Kevin
it
said it
on.
was legal, we would gratefully thank you.
Okay,
No, but
David,
I
will
don't
take-
think it should be done.
All right, thank you. I will
this
take
word.
money, whoever give it to me, please come forward. So even I have the
Unbelievable.
$100 gold thing,
And
which
it's-
my granddaughter tried to cash it and get $20 bill of $100, 4 years old. Okay, now, Ellie,
Brilliant.
I think we are, I don't have anything to add. I'm ready to vote whenever.
no, I'm saying get vote.
Yeah, oh,
counting the
vote.
vote.
Yes, I vote against.
Against, David,
I vote against.
me too. I vote against it, so against has it. Thank you.
Wait.
Okay.
Would you like to maybe
do-
put our votes on
yeah,
the
do
record?
the rest of the
Madam
votes, Naheed.
President, I mean,
Do the
come
rest
on.
of the votes.
Yes.
I'd like to be on the record,
Yeah,
Madam
call-
President,
Yeah.
as casting a vote.
Yeah, call on Ami and Diane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lisa is writing it. Ami and Miss
Oh,
Diane, no, yes.
I would like to vote yes by myself, Madam President.
I will
Yes.
vote for it.
I don't understand what you're talking. I said, Ami said yes, you said yes. So anything else? Okay. David, Alice, and Madam President, which is me, voted no.
Okay,
Okay.
And Ami and
thank you.
Diane voted yes.
yes.
The motion
You could
fails
review
3-2.
case by case.
Okay.
Someone said
Motion
Alex,
passed,
the
yes.
text on this.
Okay. Do I have any business, old, new, future you'd like to talk before we finish?
Could I make one announcement?
Be fast.
I will
Go
be
ahead.
fast. It is not listed on it might be listed on the revised agenda, but it was not listed on the agenda originally. The Board of Elections swearing in for the next term will be on Monday, June the 5th at 2:30 at Montgomery College, Germantown, and it is open to the public. It will be the swearing in and the election of officers.
Okay,
Monday,
it's in-
June 5th, 2:30, Montgomery
it's in
College,
June the
Germantown.
6th.
June the 5th,
Fifth,
June,
fifth,
June
okay.
5.
All
So,
right, anything else?
Minutes.
Huh?
Minutes.
Minutes, yeah, approval of the minute. Do I
yeah.
have a motion for April 17, 2023 minute?
I so move.
You move,
I second.
Ami second. Any question, anything?
I just have,
Yes.
I just have a very brief comment, which is to say that these, I believe, are the last set of minutes that we're going to have the benefit of Alan's services. And I want to thank him for the very, very excellent, diligent job he did on them over many years.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Alan. You
Thank
and
you.
Lisa did a marvelous job. Okay, there is a motion, yes. Alan, yes, did we have seconded? Who seconded?
Yes, we had a second by Diane.
Diane.
No,
Those in
no,
favor?
no, that was someone
No,
else who seconded.
I believe it was Ami who
Ami
Yeah,
seconded.
I
seconded it.
seconded.
Okay, Ami
My
second.
apologies, okay.
Ami
No, no,
second.
Lisa, that's not a big deal. I just want to get the record straight.
All right, then, raise your hand. That means we agree with the motion. Thank you. Future meeting already, David said, June 5th, whatever. Do I have a motion for adjourn the meeting?
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Diane seconded. Those in favor? Goodbye.
Ciao.
Okay.
Okay.
Stay
Thank
well.
you, Alan,
Be
Naheed, and
careful out
Elise.
there.
You too.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yes.